David, it's over 40 years now since your father was treated with cancer. In what state was cancer care back in the 60s?
Cancer care? Yeah. Rudimentary. There really wasn't any. You got your medical treatment as best they could do it. People hadn't really started to think about how to look after people. I mean, except the doctors were friendly, you know, but,
yes.
but the idea of looking after the patient apart from the treatment hadn't really taken off at that stage.
So this must be a fundamental motivation in what you do with Dimbleby Cancer Care.
It was. It was partly my father himself, because he said, you know, it's bleak being treated here. He used to come every day at one point, and it's bleak, and I really feel sorry for all the people who are here. He was very stoic, but I feel sorry for them. And it's uncomfortable and all that. And then the nurses who'd looked after him, and the sister particularly who was in charge, started to form an idea for actually putting money into giving people a slightly more comfortable experience. That's really what it was at the start. Then that's all it was.
Yeah, and this is 40 years ago, but how has the situation changed, and how has Dimbleby Cancer Care helped with the change?
Well, here at St Thomas's and at Guy's, where we've been developing this work through our cancer care units, I suppose the big change is psychological support, which was never sort of thought of, helping people through the trauma of discovering they've got cancer, often people, you know, with young children or with a partner to support. Helpful sort of complementary things like massage and aromatherapy, and simply being able to talk to other people who were ill. Those are the big changes, creating an environment where you can do that.
What is the situation like nationally, though?
It's very, very patchy, you know, is the truth. There are places where you get a group of dedicated people who set out to provide cancer care, as we have done here. But there are many places in the country where you still don't get much of that. You may get a few information leaflets. There are national organizations that provide information and that kind of thing. But in terms of constructing the comfortable pillow, which my father was always talking about, the comfortable pillow for people with cancer, we're at a very early stage. There's lots and lots of work to be done. And it's difficult to get it right, because it's no good just spending money, you know, like water. You've got to find exactly what it is that people need.
A key message that comes from a lot of the people that I've spoken to is that people are living longer with cancer. Cancer care needs to meet the advances that are being made in cancer treatment and cancer cure. Do you think there is a disparity between cancer care and cancer cure?
I think there is a disparity. Our watchword is living with cancer. Whenever people ask what we're trying to do, I say, well, we're trying to help people who are living with cancer. And the number of people living with cancer and the length of time they live both grow all the time. People live much longer than they used to. And therefore, all the things, apart from the actual treatment itself that goes on, all the other things, the psychological support, advice, help, meeting people, all those things are becoming in greater and greater demand. I'll give you an example. What do you say to your boss when you're diagnosed with cancer? Do you come clean and tell him or her, or do you keep quiet because you may not get promotion? There are lots of issues out there which we need to look at. And there are issues about diagnosis. Some communities are unwilling to go if they suspect they've got a lump or something that needs looking at. There's a taboo on doing it. There's a lot of work to be done in helping people deal with cancer.
Up until recently, you haven't actively been seeking funds, have you? That's now changed. Why has that changed?
For years, we had relied on money that literally came in when my father died 40 years ago, which we'd invested and we were spending the income from it. We've decided now that the number of people living with cancer, longer and longer, means that more money's got to be put into cancer care. And for that reason, we've decided to fundraise aggressively, to ask people for help, for money from their wills, for money in terms of donations, so that we can demonstrate that we're really serious about this, and so that we can actually have an effect, make a big change, make a difference. What we're really doing, I suppose, is trading on the reputation we've built up over 40 years here at St Thomas's and at Guy's for cancer care. We've got a wealth of expertise here. The people who work for Dimbleby Cancer Care know about this subject, and they're helping guide us in the directions we should move. And there is a world out there which can do with not just $1 million a year, but millions and millions of pounds if people with cancer care are going to be properly looked after by the community.